Hey, what's up, everybody? Jeremy here. Been quite a while since my last video, and last time I made a video, I was preparing to move to Nashville, Tennessee to pursue a career and a passion in music, and just wanted to come on here and make another video and give you an update on how things are going here. So, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee from upstate New York in February of this year. And, as the title of this video states, now what? I'm here. A lot of people do what I'm doing. It's not unique by any stretch of the imagination. It's almost, in my opinion, a rite of passage for a musician to move to Nashville, whether they're, a songwriter or a picker or something like one of those trades that we have here. And so, aside from music, the city has really exploded in the past 10 to 15 years, just economically, in terms of just, infrastructure and just business, just booming. And so, I heard before I moved, about 100 people were moving here per day. And also I recently heard someone say that, I believe down in Murfreesboro, there's about 250 families moving there per month, I think was the term that I heard from someone who had recently moved here. And so aside from just musicians, it's a rather saturated market in terms of how many people just live here. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the entire country. And, I just kind of wanted to give an update, and I guess I'll start with my first impressions from when I initially came down here. Didn't really know what to expect. Hadn't really lived anywhere else. Was pretty unfamiliar with the South. But when I first got here, I was pretty amazed. Just going out to shows and seeing local bands or traveling groups that were in town coming through. Just the music that I've witnessed and continue to witness to this day, which is a really beautiful thing. It's been truly amazing. I had a bit of a difficulty right when I moved down here finding housing. I had a roommate situation that didn't quite work out too well, and I was sort of out on my ass without a place to stay long term. So that created some challenges and some struggle for me here because I moved here without knowing anybody, and so it's not like I had my parents' house or a friend that I could stay with. I'm not going to go too much into detail into the story. Maybe save that for another video. But eventually, despite that struggle, I ended up hustling my way into a lease, and I've got a nice, beautiful apartment here, all to myself, which is very nice. So that was kind of the first part coming down here, and from there, I kind of have settled in quite well. I'm pretty happy with my living space and my neighborhood here. I'm in a pretty good part of town that is a lot of good stuff is pretty accessible in terms of distance and commute. So after settling in here, kind of the grind has settled in. Obviously I've had to find myself some employment in order to make money to pay for my rent. The cost of living here is quite high in Nashville, and so I currently have 2 jobs that I work, and neither of them are a paying music gig. I'll get to that in a second here. But I have a retail position that I work. Actually, one of them is sort of a musical related occupation. I work at the Grand Ole Opry. I work in the gift shop, in the retail department there. And so, I do that part-time to earn some money, and that's been a fantastic experience. Absolutely a great place to work. I really enjoy working there a lot. And I've met some really nice folks there, some really good connections, and just been around, some of the music and getting to see backstage, things like that, kind of seeing where the musicians hang out and practice, the Jimmy Cap's music room, as we call it there. I walk by there every day on my way into the office, and I'll pass by them in the halls. I've walked past Vince Gill, I've walked past Marty Stewart's wife, Connie Smith. I said hello to Whisper and Bill Anderson one night, and I've chatted a little bit with a couple of musicians there and a couple of the sound technicians on stage. Is one thing we get to do working in retail is we get to position ourselves up on the stage, and we get to take photographs for the tour groups as they sort of come across the stage, and each group or each person and their party gets their own little opportunity to stand in that sacred 6-inch circle made of oak and maple, and they get a little photograph there. And so I'm the guy behind the camera that takes the click there, and so it's very nice there. A lot of people are very grateful to come there. For a lot of people, they travel from very far away, all over the world. They come to the Grand Ole Opry and to Nashville for their love of country music and the history of the place and the experience. It's incredibly rich to be able to see that from people. They'll tell me, I've waited my whole life to come here. My grandparents, I used to listen to the Grand Ole Opry on the radio with my grandparents, and this and that. And oftentimes we'll see multiple generations of people there. Maybe like 3 generations, a grandparent, a parent, and a little kid there, and they're all kind of just enjoying it. And so that's one of the things I like about that position, is that these people are. It's just nice to see and to be able to share in their experience. Because that's kind of my experience here in the whole city as well. It kind of can apply to that. There's so much, musical history here, specifically country music, which is something I've become very interested in over the past, 5 or so years, being a guitar player and sort of exploring the different styles that are possible to be played on that instrument. And of course, I've got into the Telecaster, and that kind of led to my interest in country music, various country players, and there's a whole history here. The whole industry is here of country music, and so many great country music records were recorded here in Nashville, and so many great artists lived here and walked these streets and rubbed shoulders with folks like me, and so I've kind of been really enjoying that and learning about the history. I've yet to visit the Country Music Hall of Fame, but that's something I definitely would like to go and do, and there's certainly plenty of great history and legacy there at the Grand Ole Opry, which I've been very fortunate to I know quite a bit about, and to start to learn some of those some of the stories there. So there's certainly a lot of great stuff going on there, and that's been a great experience thus far. I really enjoy there. I met people from all over the world there, and that's one of the things I like about it here, is that I just meet people from everywhere and so many different perspectives and people, and it's just been a great experience overall. I've only been here since February, and this is 1st of October that I'm recording this, so about 8 months here, a little over half a year, and the experiences that I've had musically and just socially and emotionally, the connections I've made with people, the memories I've already made at this point, are probably going to last a lifetime already. Already I feel like I've not only settled in, but also really kind of saddled up. I've saddled up, and I've put myself into situations musically already as well that have been very, very difficult and uncomfortable and nerve-wracking, because the talent here is immense. So many great players and singers and instrumentalists and business people, and I've managed to rub shoulders, and I happen to know some of these people's names, and some of these people happen to know my name now, because I've kind of been a consistent face kind of going out there, and that's part of the routine, and in a way the grind is the networking. I kind of knew already from some of the research I did and some of the people I listened to that coming down here, networking was going to be crucial and a key element to being able to do this sort of thing, and just meeting new people, making these connections. And I kind of got a head start on that right when I came down. I sort of had to, because I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have any employment. I didn't know anybody, and so I had to, I had a fire lit under my ass. And I thank my father for this, because he just talked to me. I was staying at a Love's travel stop. I was sleeping in the back of my car one night after I stayed at a hotel for a couple nights and then moved to some Airbnbs. But before that, I spent a night, in the back of my car, and I remember talking to my father, and I was I was scared. I was nervous, and he said, you're going to have to get out there and talk to people and build a network and find people that will help you and things you can do to help people. And I've managed to do that, and that wasn't something I necessarily thought that I could do. And so I'm really proud of myself and everything I've accomplished thus far. And I'm getting a little bit emotional right now, just talking about that, because I've done a lot since I came here in a short period of time, and that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, to kind of dump some of that out. But it's been nothing short of spectacular, and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing and networking and meeting people and making connections and kind of discovering things about myself as well, about what my gifts are that have been bestowed upon me by God, and what I'm maybe meant to do here. And I'm trying to kind of in that discovery phase of what can I bring, what can I do to help people and inspire people, and what will make me fulfilled and happy and passionate. And there's no shortage of inspiration here in terms of just the new music that I've discovered, new old music from the past. Like I mentioned, the legacy, it's immense here. Like I can name names upon names and bands upon bands from decades here in Nashville and other surrounding areas. And I've kind of just been basking in that and absorbing that. And it's not just Nashville, it goes beyond Nashville. Country music, it's it goes beyond Nashville. It's a lot of it is sort of the Appalachian music, the hillbilly music, as we may refer to it now, sort of reappropriating proudly that word of the music of the people from the East Coast, the Appalachian mountain range, which sort of extends up to where I'm from, the southern tier of New York State, and all the way down through the mountain range, and sort of terminates here around East Tennessee and things like that. And that's where the string band music came from, old time music, which is something I've really taken to quite a bit here. And then string band music kind of led to bluegrass music, which is something that I've taken hold of here as well, and that kind of permeates all up and down the East Coast, and towards the western area, maybe not quite as much. Towards that western portion of the country, you have more the western music, and that's kind of a whole different ballgame, but they do sort of blend together. Everything really blends together now in terms of how this music works now, and it kind of falls under this umbrella of Americana music, and it's just a beautiful thing. And so I've been fortunate enough to get hip to some of the good jams that happen here. There's an old time jam that happens not far from me. There's a couple bluegrass jams, one in particular at the world famous Station Inn, which is a fantastic venue here in Nashville, which I've gone to several times now, and I've always had a good experience there. And there's a jam there on Sunday nights. I'm probably going to go to it tonight after church. And a lot of great jams. The bluegrass thing has really taken hold, and I like it quite a bit. Bill Monroe, the Stanley Brothers, things like that really inspire me. And there's a whole great new generation of bluegrass players like Molly Tuttle and Billy Strings, and these are all folks who they hang around Nashville. I've seen Molly Tuttle perform in a guest appearance, and I've been a couple degrees of separation from a jam that Billy Strings was at that I almost was invited to, but I've rubbed some shoulders with some pretty great folks here, and it's been amazing. So kind of wrapping up the video here, kind of looking forward. The title of this video is Now What? Now what? I've kind of gone over some of the things that I've accomplished that I'm really proud of, and I'm trying not to rest on my laurels here, and trying to think ahead, and trying to strategize and start to think about a long-term plan here in terms of the next year, and then the next 5 years even. Maybe try and figure out what I want to do here musically, because this is a great opportunity. And I'm just going to kind of, as far as my plan and my strategy, I'm kind of going to continue to do what I'm doing right now in terms of just staying consistent, getting out there and networking and meeting new people, and remembering names and trying to form connections with people, and trying to figure out what it is that I can do as a guitar player, and as a singer as well. So I've been sort of practicing on doing that sort of stuff. I'm not really too focused on songwriting right now, which is a big thing here. I'm more focused on my picking and my singing, and just kind of musical IQ, I guess, just sort of being able to read the room and understand, what's happening musically and things I can do to best serve the song that's being played. And so I'm very much still figuring it out, but I'm very happy and content, and so I just wanted to report that. And if anyone is out there that has any questions or anything like that, or any comments, I certainly welcome those, and I'll certainly try and make some more videos here once I have things to talk about. And I guess the final thing I wanted to mention is, especially being a guitar player, it's a very popular instrument, and I feel music in general as well right now in 2023 in the United States. I feel like a lot of people, are doing music. A lot of people are musicians. A lot of people would like to maybe even be full-time musicians and things like that. There's a lot of dreams and hopes for that, and it's a good and a bad thing. I think, especially here in Nashville, there's certainly an oversaturation of this. You have to just go down to Lower Broadway and see, all of the bands that play there. They drown each other out. You step out in the street, it's cacophonous. Bands on each side of the street playing incredibly loudly, and then you have the harangue of the street folks there, the bachelorettes, as we know of, and just folks having a great time, and I appreciate that, and this and that. But I was asked by a really good guitar player who I met here a couple weeks ago from New York City. His name's Adam Levy, and he's someone I really admire quite a bit. He also makes videos here on YouTube. Go check out his channel if you're not aware of Adam Levy. He sort of asked me, he said, I kind of told him what I was doing here, and he said, how do you plan on making a niche for yourself in this town as a guitar player? And he seemed kind of baffled, and I was like, you know what? I'm not really sure, Pretty much I said, I'll let you know when I figure it out, but, upon reflecting, I'm just going to try to stay true to myself and take care of myself, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I'm thinking about one potential strategy here is playing the long game, trying to just stay consistent and just keep hanging around, and don't give up, and don't get discouraged. Don't let things get me down. I'm trying. It's much easier said than done, but I get the impression that a lot of people come here with these big hopes and aspirations and dreams, and they live fast. It's very easy to do here. The nightlife here, it's very alluring. Bright lights and country music and all this, and a lot of drinking and drugs, things like that, crime, other things that go on in a city like this. And I kind of just want to try and outlast. I get the sense that a lot of these people maybe come here and they burn out pretty quickly. They lose their inspiration, something happens, maybe they move on to another city, or they go back to where they came from, or they just never really make it. But I kind of want to try to play that long game a little bit here, and just stay the course here, and really kind of put in that earn my stripes, really, earn my stripes. There's certainly many stages that I don't deserve to be on, but if I was given the opportunity somehow to get on one of those stages, I certainly would do it. And I'm going to try to stay humble and, like I said, just earn my stripes, and really just try to improve as a musician and a person, and continue to work and earn an honest living, and be a good citizen, and praise the good Lord and things like that. And I think that's about going to wrap up this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And now what? Till next time. I appreciate you all watching, and you take care. All right. Bye-bye.